Hello, I'm Keith and welcome back to Home Media Minefield, helping you with information to navigate the complexities of home cinema and home media entertainment. Thank you for coming back. Last time I covered the Star Trek Original Motion Picture Collection, films 1 through 6. Today, as promised, I'm following that up with Star Trek The Next Generation, the original movie collection. So the following 4 films in the series. The first one was following Kirk, Spock and his crew. These ones cover Captain Picard and the crew of the Enterprise D and E. And they come with all 10 films are available in a 12 disc edition called the Stardate collection. But in terms of the features that we're going to be talking about and the actual Blu Rays themselves, nothing has changed. It's the same as when this was released back in 2009. So in terms of 4K UHD, no actual word on that at the moment. I'm sure it's something Paramount are planning at some point, but currently the best versions available in high def are on the Blu-ray editions that I'm going to cover. These films are also available for streaming. As with the original series movies, these have been all of the extras, or most of the extras, from the 2-disc DVD editions that appeared in the early 2000s have been consolidated onto one disc for each film, one Blu-ray disc for each film. So most of everything has been ported across in this case. The only things that have gone missing are the text commentaries by Michael and Denise Okuda, which appeared on the DVD versions. However, most of that information is now in what they call the library computer, which is an interactive extra that you can select from the extras menu. So most of that information is there as it was on the previous. So nothing lost there. This claims to have 3 hours of new bonus features in addition to the 8+ hours of bonus features which were on the original DVDs. So quite a lot of extra bang for your buck on these discs as far as that's concerned. Most of the special features, obviously from the original one, are still in standard definition, but there are also new special features on this which are presented in high definition. So the movies themselves, we have Star Trek Generations, Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek Insurrection and Star Trek Nemesis, plus a bonus disc that I'll come on to. But all of these are remastered HD versions. In terms of picture quality across these, they look fairly good. They were obviously scanned from film, which they were originally shot in, but they've been remastered for this edition, and they do look much nicer, as one would expect, than the DVD versions that were previously available. In terms of audio, these all have Dolby True HD audio mixed in 5.1. Included on this are new commentary tracks. So you get the commentary tracks from the original releases, but you also get new commentary tracks by people involved in later Star Trek productions. So almost looking at it from a fan's perspective before they got involved in the films directly. So you get those. You also get a 4-part documentary split across the discs featuring Brent Spiner and talking about the evolution of the Data character in that. You get a new featurette called the Star Trek Round Table, where the production is discussed in some depth. It's not to mention deleted scenes, trailers, TV spots, all of the usual bits and pieces that you'd expect to find on a set like this. So drilling down more specifically into those features. So on Star Trek Generations, not only do you get the already excellent commentary by Ronald D. Moore and Brannon Braga, the writers of Generations. This was from the original DVD release, where they go into a lot of detail about the writing process They're very candid about this film in relation to All Good Things, which was the last episode that they wrote. So that's a very in-depth commentary. But you also get a new commentary by the director, David Carson, and he is joined by Manny Koto, who is a Star Trek fan and also the producer of Star Trek Enterprise. So they have a conversation where, again, they drill into a lot more detail about this. There's also some new special bonus content. There's a featurette featuring Andrew Probert that looks into the designing Star Trek and talks about the design elements that have gone into that. And also there you get the standard EPK type material from the original release, and you get some deleted material and trailers as well. So a reasonably comprehensive set of features here on Star Trek Generations. On Star Trek First Contact, you do get the Jonathan Frakes commentary from the DVD release, but you also get a new commentary by Damon Lindelof, where he talks about, from a Star Trek fan point of view, his thoughts around this film. You also get a new documentary about industrial light and magic, and looking at doing the effects of Star Trek First Contact. And you get part 2 of the featurette with Brent Spiner looking at the character of Data. So again, all of the previous material, the deleted scenes, etc., have been ported across, rounding out Star Trek First Contact. For Star Trek Insurrection, the DVD release didn't actually feature a commentary track. So on this one, we get a commentary track by Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis. So it's nice to have a commentary for this now. Plus, you get a Star Trek round table talking about various aspects of Star Trek and the production. And you also get the 3rd out of 4-part documentary where Brent Spiner talks about the evolution of the character of Data. So again, you get this plus everything that was ported across. Fewer features for this film were ever available, but pretty much everything that exists is on this version of the Blu Ray. Again, presented in its full aspect ratio and Dolby True HD. So that covers Star Trek Insurrection. And finally, we have Star Trek Nemesis, which was the last film in this particular timeline for Star Trek. So Star Trek Nemesis, again, comes with the previous material from the DVD release. You get the audio commentary by director Stuart Baird, but you also get a new commentary by Denise and Michael Okuda that are real Trek experts and talk in some depth about this movie and you know, the design and production around it. So that is good. You also get the final part of Brent Spiner's featurette around the character of Lieutenant Commander Data, and you get another Star Trek round table here. So this finishes out the special features for Star Trek Nemesis. And finally, as with the original motion picture collection, you also get a bonus disc with this called Star Trek Evolutions. It runs for about 70-75 minutes, and it is a number of smaller featurettes that look at different aspects of the Star Trek production. The first one looks at the evolution of the Starship Enterprise and is actually hosted by John Eaves, who is a concept artist on the Star Trek film. It digs in right from the original NX-01 Enterprise right the way through the various versions, finishing on the Enterprise E. Yes, it delves into the various ship designs from the Star Trek universe point of view. So it's less about the actual production side and more spoken about from the in-universe continuity point of view around the ships. So that is quite an interesting featurette. Nicholas Meyer, Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci, they discuss the villains of the Star Trek films, and they go through each film talking about the villains from Khan through to the Klingons through to the Borg and their thoughts on that. Again, an interesting and nice enough addition to this set. You also get a featurette from creatives that worked on the show as to why they love Star Trek. This features Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens. It also includes Mike Sussman, Brian Fuller, Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci, and you know, their thoughts on Star Trek and why they love it and why they got creatively involved in it. It's a bit of a love letter to the franchise, but you know, it works well. And then finally you get a featurette that covers the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas, which ran from 1998 through to 2008, just before this Blu Ray was produced. It's quite nice that they've archived this material on there. I have to say I was lucky enough at one point to visit that myself, and it was very well done indeed. It shows, you know, the creatives behind it, but also goes through and goes around and shows you the exhibition and the event that runs around it as well. It involved everything from a bit of role playing to a simulator ride to basically a dining experience on Deep Space Nine. So again, nice that they've covered this here on this disc. So that's quite a nice extra to have. Did it warrant being put on a separate disc? Probably not, but that's how they're marketing this. So you can get this version as a 5-disc set, or you can get the entire collection as a 12-disc set. They are still available out there, so they're worth checking out. But yeah, in terms of what we have at the moment, this is probably the best versions that there currently are of these films, with, you know, as many extras as they could possibly do on this. Obviously this was a little less complicated than the original motion pictures, which featured director's editions of 3 of the films. I hope that information is helpful. I hope you find it useful. If you do, please do like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss anything. And if you could like and share and spread the word, that would be very helpful also, if you like this sort of thing. In future episodes we are going to be covering home media releases on various formats for all sorts of films, all different genres, television shows as well. So please stay tuned for that. If there's anything you'd like me to review in particular, please put it in the comments down below, and I will try and get to those and cover as much as I can for you. And if you're interested in Star Trek or in movies in general, please check out a couple of podcasts that I'm involved in. One, I'll put the links in the show notes down below. One is called Let's See What's Out There, and that looks at the Star Trek franchise. And the other is called Movie Heaven, Movie Hell, which looks at the history of cinema, and we go through different directors each week, as well as a number of special franchise episodes. So please check those out in the show notes below. But listen, thank you so much for your time today, and I will speak to you at the next one. Thank you.